Like a night out in Sheffield, I could greasy chipboty on Sheffield United. Come thrill me again.
Hello and welcome back to episode 6 of Blades of Glory. This episode is going to be a bit different to the last few ones because it is transfer season. So I've not made any transfers yet, but I'm going to talk you through some of the key players we're going to let out and some of the key players that we're potentially going to bring in. So without further ado, let's get on with the games and then we can get into that. The first of 3 games I've got to update you on was against Sunderland. This was at home. We went with back to our 4-1-2-1-2 formation, put Brooksy on the left of the central midfield as the left footer. So let's see how this one went. It's fair to say though, unfortunately, this game did not go too well. We struggled a bit from set pieces against them. I think I need to tinker with the set piece routines, but the one positive was that man, Ched Evans, he got his first goal for a long time, and well, maybe that'll bring him back into form. But as you see there, good finish from Graben, pretty similar to that one from Evans actually. And then another set piece, and Dong wins the second ball, and then it just comes out. We don't clear it, and it's what more? I don't know. We will need to change that a bit around. But as you see from the review, a deserved loss. We tried to play a 4-1-2-1-2, but it did not work against Sunderland. You'll remember that we lost 2-0 to them twice before, and now we've lost 3-1. So they're a bit of a bogey team for us, even though they are actually, before this game, they were in 20th place in the league. The next game was one we really needed to win. This was against Bolton, who were dead last in the league. I think we beat them 4-2 in the reverse fixture. So this was a game we needed to win. We went with our 4-1-2-1-2, pushed Brooks forward again, brought in Carruthers, who's playing reasonably well for us, took Sharp out, and then brought Stearman in as well as that vice captain to lead the team. And win the game we did. The first of the goals came through a Donaldson header. There we go, nicely tucked away from him. It's good to see him getting on the score sheet as one of the strikers. And the other striker that we've been using a lot this season, Sharp, came off the bench to score quite a similar goal with his head in the 87th minute to wrap up the tie. So that ended our 6 or 7 even loss streak. So I was very pleased with that. The formation worked exactly how we wanted it to. Although it is against a very weak opposition, they are dead last in this league. They've been cut adrift, but it may be the confidence boost we need. Last of the games I've got to show you was at Pride Park in Derby. This game we only had 2 days because it's obviously the busy festive season between this and the last game against Bolton. So I did have a bit of rotation, but I don't think Derby had that much rotation. So in this game, we looked to exploit their lower fitness. So let's see how that got on. And it worked out pretty well. They got an early goal again through a set piece, something we really need to sort out. But then we actually got a big slice of luck here. Davis with a poor touch, Sharp gets on the end of it. That's the kind of striker he is. Finds the net. 1-1 it ended, and that was a pretty good result. As I say, we were trying to exploit their lower fitness with a couple of these players in the middle and in their centre backs. Tom Lawrence actually had a very good game, even though his fitness wasn't great, and Ledley wasn't absolutely amazing. Our players a bit high fitness overall, in general at least, but that really shows on the stats. Actually, we did have a lot of shots on target, so the lucky goal was deserved. And yeah, a good result for us. Let's go into the transfers. You'll be able to see here as I've moved away my camera and I've sorted it from games played that a lot of these players down the bottom have barely played any games apart from Chris Basham. They're on the transfer list. They are wanted. 3 centre backs down here. I'm not going to sell Jake Wright because we just need him as a backup. Chris Basham, he's been wanting to leave. He's been complaining, so I'm more than happy for him to leave. James Hanson's got a bid put on him. Let's just see what these bids are. 525k. I think that is some in instalments, but that's a pretty decent figure to get for someone who's not featured for us. 140k. I'm pleased to get that for Hansen. He was getting no bids before. 60k for Duffy. He's not really had any bids at all. Thomas has not featured whatsoever, being a winger, which we do not use, and we're potentially going to get 80k for him. And Henahan is wanted by a few teams. I don't really mind how much we get for him. So we will be bringing in quite a bit of money. While we're here, actually, let's just have a look at a few of the players who've been playing well for us. Ender Stevens has been the best player for us this season, joint with Carruthers. That doesn't really surprise me. Coots has been playing very well. That really justifies his inclusion in the team because he's been complaining quite a lot. So I'm pleased he's doing well. Fleck obviously injured, that's not ideal for us. Concert is quite high up there, so is Hayden, you'd expect that. Some players down low, Richard Stearman, Ched Evans, George Baldock, these players I thought would be really good for us at the start of the season, haven't been up to scratch. And that is why I'm going to be looking at some players, especially in the striker role, which I'll show you now, that we could potentially bring in. Hello, I'm back, and you'll notice Leandro Ulloa, I think it's pronounced actually, a very, very good scout report. I'm sure if any of you have managed in the Championship, you'll have looked at him if you're looking at strikers to bring in. He offers something a bit different. He is very tall, or reasonably tall at least. He puts his weight around, he's aggressive, he's brave, he's good in the air, good jumping reach, good heading. I think he would offer something different, and he can play complete forward, which is a role I really, really like. The one stumbling block though is that he's 2.1 million. We may have to bring him in on loan as well because we probably can't get his wages. So we'd have to move this playing monthly fee up because I think they want his whole wages to be paid for. But that may be something that's worth doing. The next player is similar in a way. Actually, he's actually got the same recommendation from the scouts. He'd be 4-star if he came in. Peter Crouch, 36 years old, on the same wages actually as well, would cost 275k. So it'd probably be worth bringing him in on a full transfer rather than bringing him on loan. Let's just check this out. Playing monthly fee is a lot less, so we might have to work out exactly what the best way to deal with that is. But mentally, he is absolutely insane, and technically, he is very good for this level at least. Anyway, his dribbling's not great, but I feel like he could play in his deep lying forward role and hold up the ball really well and be someone sort of different to have, because if he's playing in a deep line forward role, he does not need this acceleration, this too, because he's just going to be stood still and then feeding the ball to other players. Good technique, good passing, good vision on him. I reckon he could be maybe a bit more suited to the style of play we're playing in Ulloa, but I think Ulloa probably is a better player and he's a bit more versatile, so we'll see with that. Another striking option is Tony Martinez, who is on the loan list. Is a bit of a cheaper option here because I think we could get him in without playing any of his wages, I believe. There we go. Oh no, just 100k. So that, I mean 1k, so that would be fine. He is a bit more of a technical player, which we don't really have quite as much in the team. He's quite good technically in passing, but you'll notice that they're pretty much the same as Peter Crouch. So I think it would make more sense to bring in Peter Crouch, but he would cost more money, obviously, Crouch, and this would be a very cheap signing. But to be fair, he wouldn't actually be an improvement on any of the players at 3-star, and he probably wouldn't fit into the group as well because he's Spanish. But that could be one to have an eye out for, potentially. Another golden oldie player from the Premier League now, Phil Jagielka. Absolutely insane quality for the Championship. He would have 86 report. He would come in as one of our best central defenders, but he does lack pace. But as you can see there, he did used to play for Sheffield United. I remember when he used to play for Sheffield United. He was a well-liked player there for sure, so that would be quite a good reunion with him. I think we're more likely though to get him at the end of the season when his contract expires than in January. The last player we're looking at is Jordan Much. He would fit in quite well as a replacement for Fleck. We'd probably be likely bringing him in on loan, as would be the same for the other players really, as is the value they want for him is a bit too high. But again, we could make up for that in playing monthly fee, is whether that's worth it. I don't reckon we'll bring someone in central midfield, but if we do, he's going to be one of the most likely ones. I like some of these player traits he has. As long as he's played with a couple of other central midfielders, he could be quite useful as a goal-scoring central midfielder. Just before we get into the live game in the FA Cup against Leeds, let's just have a little look at the table again. It is very similar to what it was before. In fact, Nottingham Forest have dropped into the relegation zone and Leeds have come out of it, which is a bit annoying now because now we're only 4 points ahead. I did not realise that. Goal difference is a lot better than Nottingham Forest at the moment, but it's one of the weakest in the group ahead of them. So it really, as I said before, it's going to be a case of not being caught up in this. Hopefully, as one of the weaker teams, Burton or Millwall will get trapped in there and maybe fall away, and then we can relax a bit more. But it's looking a bit daunting for us at the moment, and then we're moving further away from the playoffs. But I am inspired after our recent form, for sure. We've done pretty well. We got 4 points on the last two, so we could potentially push on and hopefully move up the table. Right, getting into the live game. This is what we're going for in this cup match. We've dropped Lundstrom back into the defensive midfield position. We're not going to play Hayden in this game, actually. We're just going to bring him onto the bench, though. Mark Duffy, we don't really need him. Ender Stevens, we might give a game to as well. There we go. That is what we're going to go for. More at the back, sweeper keeper. As I said before, it's toss up between him and Blackman. Actually, I might give Blackman a game as it's the cup. These centre backs, the reasoning behind them is because they've got a lot more pace, and in a back three, I've kind of thought Steam and Basham have been found a bit wanting really at the back because of their lack of pace, but also we've managed to put O'Connell on cover, which I think has helped us out a bit. He's probably the best player on cover in the team. Ideally, we would have it like this because he's the left central defender. We might try it like this in this game, actually. So, as I say that, we're making a few changes, but that is what we're going to go for at the back. Lundstrom in defensive midfield, Stevens and Baldock on the wings. Baldock's been quite impressive recently, even though throughout the season he's not been that impressive. Coots and Carruthers, two of the top performers for us this season. Donaldson and Sharp up top. That's just a case of rotation. And then we're going to go counter and structure the same sort of tactics we did against Derby in the last game. So yeah, you can see there they're going with a 4-2-3-1-2. They're playing a lot of their key players. Though you can see Pablo Hernandez in there, Eunan O'Kane and Janssen, very, very good centre-back. So they're certainly playing a strong side. In terms of team talk, let's say that because we've been quite good underdog-wise. Good, right. Obviously, this is a Yorkshire derby against Leeds, so it's important for us not to get battered in this game. The last one against Leeds was an absolute cracker, so if that game translates into this one, then it would be an absolute cracker for us, but we get the early goal. I hope it's not like the last game because they went 3-0 ahead. But Lundstrom, I think with his first ever, yeah, it just popped up there, his first ever Sheffield goal. Cracking finish from him. It's come off the player in goal there. He was on the post, so obviously he didn't do his job. I think maybe, if anything, he got in the way of the keeper, so I'm glad about him being there. But it looks like we're doing quite well at the moment. Another chance here potentially for us. Leeds have come more into the game, but it looks like we're going to have a chance as it played across, but as soon as I assume it's my chance, it goes the other way, but it may still be going our way. Donaldson plays it back to Carter Vickers. That's what we want him to do, is the deep line forward. Carter Vickers screws it up there. That's not good because he's recently come back into the team. So I'm wanting him to keep his place. But Donaldson's through. Can he find a pass? Okay, he really should have found a pass there. He should not be shooting from that range. Sharp is a bit more of a sharp shooter, excuse the pun, than Donaldson. So we don't want him taking the shots. Or even if Evans came in, we don't want Donaldson taking the shots. So that's kind of why we're looking for a different type of deep lying forward player up top. We're going to say, don't be complacent, but we're also going to say to everyone, I'm pretty happy with your performance. And they all looked happy, so whether that's good or not, I don't know. Just have a quick look at the analysis before. I'm not really going to change anything for now. I think we're pretty defensive. Solid. We're keeping an eye on their formation to see if they change it at all. They probably won't until quite late on, but if they do, obviously we're going to have to change to counter that. Right, they've just brought on a striker and an attacking midfielder. They've changed their formation quite a lot to three at the back. I think our formation still counters this, really. I suppose we could drop another player in the centre midfield maybe to try and deal with them. But there's 2 strikers up there. Right, what I might do now, because then they're going to be lumping the ball into the box, is take Concert off for Stearman. Have him in there as a stopper type player. And change Carter Vickers to be the coverer. I'm actually going to go onto this screen because I've only just recently found out there's this screen which I enjoy a lot more than the other screen. The other screen is awful. So going to bring Sharp on, Evans on, and then swap those 2 around. Starting average role is that, which they still need to sort that out, but that's fine. They're all in the right positions. Let's carry on and see if we can see this game out. Alright, there's a chance here. I am a little bit worried about the way my tactical changes. Bringing on Stearman, who's not playing that well, for a Conser who's playing well at the moment, might not have been a great idea. But we've got the ball through. Bulldog. He's not a great shooter of the ball. I've mentioned it before. Our fullbacks are decent at getting forward, but they're not exactly good finishers. You don't want them to be shooting. But when he's in that much space, you cannot have a go at him really for shooting there. Bulldog off. We're going to bring Freeman on because he's lacking a bit in fitness. And hopefully see out this game. I might go a bit more defensive. Alright, it looks like there's a chance here. Leeds does not have a chance all game, and they may still not have one all game. Carter Vickers, can he do something? Why is this guy just standing there, not offering him an option? Black when it goes back to Sharp, can he win it in the air? No, because Pontus Jansson is very, very good in the air. Carter Vickers back, and again it's the same kind of thing, but Sharp this time is up against Ayling. And it does fall to us. Stearman, decent pass from him. Carruthers, I trust him now. He's played well for us. Sharp, good ball out wide to Stevens. Can he cross it back in? And there it is, Sharp. And it's 2-0. We've sealed the game late on. You'd think I'm just going to go back what I was going to do before, defensive, and drop it deeper now. And just see out the game, hopefully, to getting through to the next round. I wouldn't have been that bothered if we hadn't got through to the next round, because the league is something we need to focus on, especially with teams closing us in from behind. But to get a win away against Leeds, hopefully knock back their confidence as one of those teams down there, is good, and it shows good signs for our tactic as well. We haven't lost in 3 games as well, which I think is very important. Stay passionate. Very pleased with your result and performance. I could talk to the subs as well. I probably should, but I'm not going to say that. Carter Vickers, it looks to switch off. I don't think he likes me because I've not played him very often. But that is the end of the episode. I'm not going to bother with any of these things. Actually, has Plymouth come in with 140k? That's fine. We'll take that for Henechan. Ben Henechan. He sounds Irish, but he's not. I don't believe. So next episode we are likely to come in at the end of the transfer window. So this game against Leeds, ideally I would not show you that. No, actually this game against Wolves, that's what's going to come in. Wolves away, that's a tricky one. They've moved up to 7th. They were down the bottom of the table before. That'll be when we come back in. We've got 3 pretty difficult fixtures here. But Aston Villa again, we only lost them 1-0 away, so hopefully we can avenge that loss. So we'll come back in then. I'll show you the transfers. Will we bring in Peter Crouch? Will we bring in Ajoa? I don't know. You'll have to wait and see for that. But until then, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Ta-ra.